It's Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. I know we're all excited. Everybody's excited that the weekend has officially started, and some of you are have lots of plans. So whatever it is that you have planned on doing this weekend, I really, really, really hope that everything goes well, and I'm so excited too. Even though I'm still going to be working tomorrow on Saturday, but I can be mad about it. I already made it clear. I'd rather go to work, make more money, so I have enough to continue to finance my projects that I got going on back in Congo, right? So thank you guys so much for always coming back to watch my videos and especially hanging out with me in these live streams that I've been doing lately, given my work schedule. And you guys already know that it's never easy to manage full-time job and YouTube at the same time. So it's been very, very difficult for me to edit those videos. Like the one that I was supposed to release last week, I ended up working on Sunday even. So by the time I got off work, I get home, I was tired. I didn't even have time to go and edit those videos again. So I do apologize, but hopefully this Sunday I won't be working, but I'm working tomorrow. After tomorrow, then we'll see what I can do about those videos that I'm have coming your way. But guys, listen, in today's live stream, I am going to be discussing, at least giving you my opinion as to why Africans have now are quickly realizing that snap, what really brought us here to the West is not the reality that we live in, right? For that matter, I am going to be offering solutions and maybe give you my opinion as to why Africans are returning to Africa and what you could potentially do in order for you to really be comfortable while you're there rather than coming back here to America or to the West, right? So if that sounds like something you'll be more interested in or curious to see what I have to say, I will highly, highly recommend hitting the like button and stick around to the end of this live stream. All right. So again, how you guys doing? Some of you just joined the chat. So do me a favor, hit the like button and let me know in the comment section where you're tuning in from, and I would really appreciate it. All right. So the problem that a lot of Africans have is that we are told stories about the West that are not true. Okay. The stories told about the West that from probably, let's just say, from the 60s and the 70s. And for some reason, a lot of people are still thinking the realities are the same in 21st century, like in 2024. Listen, things have changed dramatically. A lot of things have changed. And a lot of people, like the more people immigrate, or every president that comes to power in America, they have a different agenda. They have things that they consider themselves as their priorities, right? So those things, their priorities are now helping every Africans that are moving to America or to the West, and I'll tell you why. For instance, when I first moved to America 13 years ago, it didn't matter if you were getting a job at any industry, let's just say in manufacturing sector, right? You didn't need the ability to speak the language in order for you to get a job. Okay. So at least it was under Obama when I moved here. When I moved here, it was under Obama's second terms, right? And then Donald Trump gets elected, right? When Donald Trump gets elected, a lot of like immigration laws have changed, like, labor laws have changed, a lot have changed. So the same industries or manufacturing, like in the same factories that I worked for when I first got here, before I, took ESL classes, that didn't require the ability to speak the language. Now those requirements were imposed. So I'm telling you this because I have friends who had moved here after like 3, 4, even 5 years after I got here, and they went looking for the same jobs where I worked before I started working at a warehouse. They couldn't select them because of not being able to speak the language. I even was in charge of a temporary agencies, basically temp service agency organization that actually facilitate and recruit employees for a certain company, right? And then you basically working under the temp service, but you're going to work somewhere. So you pick up your paycheck from that agency. That's pretty much how that works, right? So this lady here, her name is Michelle. All right, there's no need to mention her last name or anything like that. So I went down there because I'm helping this friend fill out the job application and everything like that. So I go over there. Then she tells me, well, I don't need you to translate for him. He has to be able to speak for himself. And I asked her, well, how is that possible? I work for this company, right? And when I got here, I didn't have the ability to speak the language. So my cousin was all along, it was alongside me. He was helping me out with a lot of things. Is that, well, back then it was a different president. So under this administration, laws have changed. So I thought it was more like a discrimination type thing that they didn't want, you know, like a group, like a class of immigrant to get certain jobs. But for Spanish, like Spanish speaking people, they don't have that struggles because there's a lot, like Spanish is like the second spoken language in America, right? So when a person comes from a Latin American country, right, and they get here, chances are they're going to be a lot of Spanish speaking individuals at that job that will help them with the language barrier, right? But unlike most Africans, when we come here, either we speak French or we speak other languages that they don't even speak here. So they don't have time to be trying to figure some things out with you. So that alone posed the problem. So I have friends who actually got here. They had their green card, they had a social security, they had all of the documents, the legal documents that would actually get you. It becomes difficult for certain people to, get a job, right? And that started to increase the level of frustration. Heard all of these things, but then they come here, they can't get a job because they're unable to speak the language, right? So of course, like certain employers, they didn't really care that much, but most of them they did. They didn't expect you to fluently speak English, but they expected you to at least know the basics. So when you're at work, you are able to communicate with them in any way, shape, or form. I think it was an effort to prioritize Americans more, or Native Americans more, rather than immigrants that are coming here, whether legally or illegally, right? Because I'm talking about friends who have moved here legally. They have the green cards, but because of the inability to speak the language, they couldn't work in certain areas. So now it became a burden. You have people moving here, they staying home for a period more than 6 months without getting a job, because everywhere you go now they have like no requirements. Now people are forced to get into ESL classes as soon as possible and learn the language so you can get a job, right? Which is not a bad thing at all. But keep in mind, when people move here from Africa, they don't know that the reality that we go through here. They don't understand that you have to wake up every single morning to go to work. So someone like me who has a car, right? I'm on my way to work. Do you think I want to jeopardize my job to take somebody else to their ESL class? Absolutely not. You're going to figure it out. So, and that alone, it started to create more problems within friends or family members. They're like, well, you were telling me all of these things, that things are going to be great when I get here. Now I'm here, you're barely home. You're not even taking me to these appointments or helping me out with certain things that I need help with. And now I can't work. I'm sitting at home, but I have family that are depending on me back home. They expecting me to get a job so I can start financially supporting them and things like that. So people are seeing that. It's taking place. It's happening. So it becomes a little more of the process. Even without those new laws or requirements, right? You were still it wasn't still easy when people got jobs, right, and they realize how much hours or how much long they have to be at work to only get a certain amount. And later on, when you start paying bills, you start getting you know other expenditures, you'll realize that, oh crap, the money I thought it was enough, it ain't really enough money, right? So let me grab this comment section real quick here. Hi, I really need some advice, brother. My cousin keeps making me it's where we'll be into me. How do I tell her? It's weird enough already for me. Let me see. Without all of that, I don't want to hurt her feelings. Listen, that I can't help you with. I'm sorry. Listen, I can't help with that. Well, listen. Let me tell you something, man. You're a grown man. You're a grown person. You know what you need to do. You can't expect another grown man to tell you exactly what you need to do. If you're uncomfortable, with something that your roommate or your intimate partner is doing, you just have to grow balls to tell to them directly, without having to hurt their feelings. But understand that sometimes, no matter what your intentions are, and people still feel feelings get hurt regardless in the process. So there isn't really nothing, right, I can do about that. You know what I'm saying? So we've all been in those situations where you wanted to tell somebody something that makes sense, that's more rational, but that person, they just take it a whole wrong way. Okay, so you can't help with those kind of situations. They just have to understand that they have to be responsible for their actions. That's all I'm trying to say. So you have to look out for you, and you have to do something that benefits you more than somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? Because like me, I'll give you one quick example. I had a roommate that we both lived together, my boy. So we were a roommate for like 4, maybe 5 years. We lived together. Like we got along really well. But we had one issue. The issue he had, it was taking out trashes. So if it was his day to take out trashes, he didn't do it. I didn't mind taking out, trashes for him, but I'm like, dude, this is your responsibility. You need to take care of this. We never got into an argument over it. You know how I solved that problem? I'm like, you know what? From now on, no taking turns with taking trash out or whatever. I started doing everything. So on a certain given day, if he felt like taking the trash out without even me asking him to, he would just take it out. And I didn't care if I took it out or I didn't take it out. So that solved the problem big time. And we lived together for like 4 or 5 years. When he moved out, he got his own crib. I got my own apartment. We never got into an argument, and it solved the problem, right? Because I knew the moment I knew if I had said something to him, it probably would have brought something up that I did in the past, and then we will go back and forth. And I didn't want us to end up in that situation and get caught up in the middle of some BS. So I just solved that problem by taking the trash out. Whether it was my turns or his turns, it didn't matter. I just did it. All right. So here's the thing. Do what you think is best for you, and I'm sure it'll be okay. So back to the video, all right? So you shifted me away from my topic here. So, so people are seeing what it's really like living in America or living in the West. Guys, do me a favor. It's more than 20 people in the chat. Just do me a favor, hook a brother up. Hook a brother up, hit the like button. I mean, I'm not even asking you to share. Hit the like button if you're getting some value in these live streams, right? And I will really appreciate it. So now you see the realities. Now you understand that, okay, there are things that I have to abide by living here in the West. So me particularly in America, you have to abide by the rules, you have to abide by the law and everything else going on here. Because let me tell you something. You see, when we move from here, we move from Africa. When we move here, we have other things in mind. We have higher expectations. Yeah, the infrastructures are great. The roads are built, you know, all of this beautiful city and everything like that. Social programs and all. But you don't take it home with you. These are things that have existed. And if you ask like natives, they will tell you, like, people that have built this country, they put it on the right path. And all of these politicians after them, they're all corrupt. It's the same thing as it is in Africa, except they've done a great job building their countries. But people after them, they ain't building nothing. They ain't building squat. It's just these billionaires that are continuing to build, multiple jobs opportunities for others that are still building, real estate development or whatever, so they can make more money. In terms of the government, what the hell is the government is doing for the people in these countries? Nothing. So when you're coming here, you have these higher expectations, and then you see exactly what life is like here in America. Now you start to think, oh my God, like I thought things would be different. Now what do I do? Well, what you need to do is this. You come from a place you know that have a lot of opportunities, right? So why can't you use the knowledge that you have acquired here and take it back where you come from and make something out of it, right? That's exactly what people are doing. It's pretty much exactly what these Western countries are doing in Africa anyway. They're extracting our natural resources, whether legally or illegally. They bring it back here in their refineries. They, turn it into a final product and take it back and sell it to much higher prices than what they originally got it from. Some of them even got it for free, right? And we're paying for the cell phones, laptops, and everything else. So you can use the same principles, but in a much more positive way, in a way in ways that don't hurt your people, in a ways that you don't take advantage of your people. You can take the knowledge back home, apply it within your community, and you will be much better off. Let's understand one thing. Living in the West, you are accepting almost to live like as a slave. It's like a modern slavery, only you getting paid to do the job, right? But if you pay attention closely, the minimum wage is, for instance, here in America, hasn't been raised since what, the 60s, the 70s? The minimum wage here in America is like $7.25, right? Now tell me, when people making this money, like the minimum wage is not even meeting the living standards with hyperinflation, like high costs of living, everything is going up in price, but people are still not making enough money because the minimum wage has not been increased in decades. So now it is becoming more and more impossible for people to live the life that they deserve, while these billionaires are continuing to get tax breaks and everything. Well, I'm not trying to get too political, but I'm just, stating the obvious so that people can wake up. Okay? So it's not you. You're not doing anything wrong. It is the system. It is the government who is screwing people over, who's screwing us all over, right? So you have a job, you're going to work, but you're barely making enough money. That ain't your problem. That's a government problem. I understand it's not everybody who's motivated, who wants to go to college 4 years, get a degree, and get out. Even if you go to college, how much money do you think as someone with a bachelor's degree, for instance, in business is making, right? Per hour or monthly. When you get out of college, you go looking for jobs, they will pay you probably less than someone who's working at a warehouse because you don't have no experience. They don't need to hire you, okay? Because a college degree or going to college is another form of business that these people do. They want you to be educated, and it makes you think that, oh, I'll get a better job and I will be, I don't have to like physically, work, hard or whatever. But check this out. You got all the student loans debts, right? Now guess what? You get your first job, you're barely making enough money. You're making payments on your student loans, and on the top of it, you can't afford to live on your own or get an apartment because when you pay the student loan debts, you pay like certain bills that you have, your phone bills and all of the other bills that you got going on, and you realize money is barely enough to get you a place. Now guess what? You have to stay with your parents for as long as you possibly can before you are able to afford your own apartments. And it's going to take you a very, very long time to start making at least a good amount of money where you feel comfortable getting your own spot, right? But people don't really talk about these issues. They don't tell you this. That's why me personally, when I went to, I'm like 9 credits away to get my degree, but it took me a very long time to make that decision whether I wanted this degree or not. While I was in college, basically, I kept saying to myself, listen, with the way things are going, I don't want to go get a college degree and having to work somewhere where I'm making just as much as what I'm making now. The reason I'm trying to go to college or get this education is because I want to make more money than what I'm making now, so I am able to do the things that I want to do in life. And that's when I started thinking about what can I do that does not require a 4-year college degree, but still be able to make a 6-figure salary. That's why I looked into law enforcement. I'm like, I can go to the police academy for 6-8 months, get out, get a job, and making probably more than what nurses are making. Guess what? Heck yeah, sign me the freak in. I signed in, I went through the whole process, here I am. Especially when you get them overtime and our union, they give us, great deal. Why do you think I'm doing the things I'm doing in Congo and the pace that I'm doing it? It's because of what I'm making as a cop, right? So you have to make decisions on how you want to live your life, because every job pays a certain price, but you just have to look at it in a more positive way. You're like, all right, what are the things that I want in life? And what kind of efforts do I need to achieve those goals? Me personally, I'm speaking from, as an African and talking directly to my people. Guys, there are ways you can make it in Africa without having to be here. I'm not saying this because I've made it, but I know really well after traveling 4 times in a span of 4 years, back and forth, and I see what people are doing there, and what we could potentially do. So we have an income coming from there, whether you prefer to stay here, but at least you don't have to work as hard as you are now. Or if you want, you're like, hey, what I'm making there with the things that I have built or the business I have established, I don't feel the need to come back here in America. You go. Well, it's different for me. Someone like me, I want to move back home and live my life peacefully. What happens when most Africans visit their home country for the first time in a long time? Tell me about that feeling that you had. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I have to do whatever it takes. I need to move back. I need to do this because you're living your best life, right? Here, we barely get enough vacation time to actually spend time with family or friends or even enjoy your life. You working for a company for 5 years, you only have 2 weeks vacation out of 365 days a year. So now you tell me, how are you going to manage that? It's not like in those 2 weeks, unless you are really a world traveler or you love to travel like that, among other things in life that you have to, be mindful of. But it's not always you're going to have the money to travel, right? So when people travel, sometimes you travel, you use 2 or 3 days vacation, you go somewhere, you need to have a budget, right? You need to have enough money that can support your staying or your fun time away from home. And at least that's exactly what's going to happen. But it's not in many cases where people, do travel as much as they should. Or depending on what you like to do. Some people like to travel. Some people like to spend time with family. Some people will just love to get a day off and stay home and, relax and get destressed. Get out of the stress that comes with the job. But most people will rather go away so that they, have a new experience, refresh themselves. So when they go back to work, right, they're all freshened up and everything. But then you still start to hate being back at work, especially coming back from a vacation, right? So that is the reality here in the West, especially in the United States, where people work much harder. I have to give a shout out to American people, man. This is one of the most hard-working people on the planet. You have people that I know who work 3 jobs, right? People work 3 jobs in this country. Why the... I'm trying not to cuss today, but why the hell you need 3 jobs to survive? You don't. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying this to brag myself in any way, shape, or form. I've worked 2 jobs before. Why? Because I had plans. I had things that I needed to do, and with 1 job income, because I was barely making enough, it couldn't cut it. And I needed an additional job, a second job, so I can save a little bit of the money on the side to give me the ability, right, to do the things that I wanted to do. Now I have a job that's paying what I believe I deserve. And when I work overtime, I don't need a second job. And that money is not getting invested here because they're already taking enough taxes out of my paycheck every pay period that I feel whatever I got extra needs to be invested somewhere. Therefore, I'm investing back in the Congo. And I think most Africans should start doing the exact same thing too, depending on whatever you want to invest in, whether it is real estate, whether it is whatever it is, right? Guys, here, a lot of people, by the time they retire, you work your butt off your entire life. You get your pension, even if you have one, or you retire, you get your 401k or whatever. Let's just say you retire at age 62, 65, right? Motherfucker, how long you think you're gonna be alive after that? You were lonely, there's nobody around you, and you probably unable to take care of yourself after, 2-3 years after you retire. Now you have to be put in nursing homes for someone else to take care of you. Now guess what? A home you bought, it doesn't worth anything no more. You got to sell it. That money allows you, to stay in nursing home for as long as you're alive. And you become isolated, right? You're isolated from the rest of the world. That kills you even 3 times faster than if you made a decision to build back home, to do the things where you move down there, you have people around you. Trust me, it's the best feeling in the world. On my last live stream, I spoke about the African culture versus American culture in certain areas, right? Where people here, that's how they live their life. They live because everybody has a job. Everybody's worried about making money. Everybody's worried about bills that they have to pay. Everybody has a purpose, and you should live your life with a purpose too. But it gets to a point to where, especially here in America, it's so crazy. People don't see each other. I know friends who have brothers, sisters that live not too far from each other, but they barely see each other. You know why? They work different shifts and everybody's worried about making a buck so that they can handle their business. It is outrageous, dog. I'm like, dude, like I can't live this life, yo. I want to be around people. People in Africa have jobs too, yeah. It's not industrialized societies for the most part. People have jobs, they still work, but they go to work, come home, you're see hanging out with friends. Things that I barely see here in America, dog. So when people are thinking, coming here to America, I'm living my best life, especially Africans. Oh, I'm gonna live my best life. Yeah, wait till you get here. Live your best life, my ass. You're gonna be stressed out of your freaking mind. You are gonna hate it because the money, if the money was really, really the number one motivation and it made our life better, why is it that people are talking negatively about the US government, the things that they're doing? It's because money does not answer all our questions. I mean, it doesn't answer all our answers, right? The problem is that you need to figure out what works for you. In America, whether you like it or not, you will have to work that much to afford your lifestyle. It is that simple. There's no other way around it. No other way. But in Africa, we have options. I can't blame somebody who's trying to putting the amount of efforts for, let's just say 5-10 years and be done with it once for all. I can just imagine retiring here in America. Guys, don't get me wrong. Me as a cop, my retirement plan, I have a pension, right? When I retire, after 20 years of service, I have a huge pension. I'm good, I'm chilling, right? And I don't have to wait till I'll probably have to wait till I'm 54 years old before I'm eligible to start collecting my pension. But I have to wait till I am 65. I don't know if it's 62 or 65 before my Social Security checks start, coming in. But I don't want to wait that long. That's why I'm working as hard as I can to build apartments, build my farm, run my farm and make enough money back home where I feel that, okay, now I think I'm set. The money that I'm making now, I don't have to stay here, because that's the one thing we're thinking about money too much. Oh, if I leave America, am I going to be able to get that check? Oh, no, your Social Security or your pension, it is the investment that you are making, whether it is in Africa or here in America or in Latin America, wherever. But that is your Social Security. Social Security, it's basically you are putting money away. Like they take out taxes here in America, you're putting money away, right? So when you reach a certain age where you're unable to work, this young generation that are working, they actually helping pay for your Social Security, if it's still going to be around when we reach that age, because it's looking more like Social Security programs are threatened by these lunatic politicians because they want to erase Social Securities. There are debates over in the Senate and House of Representatives talking about how they're trying to cut Social Securities and shit. We're not going to have that luxury any longer. People, you got to wake up. You need to create your own Social Security while you're alive. Because keep in mind, those programs are not going to be around forever. They're threatened. I don't want to get into politics a lot, but it's imperative that we know these things so we know where we stand. You understand what I'm saying? Things Africans can do now to help solve the problems is to start thinking about investing in Africa. If you, I don't know how long, those of you that are watching, I don't know how from Africa or who live here, whether you live here or you live in a continent, I don't know how long you've been here in America, but you don't need to wait too long to start investing. All right. So let me grab these comments real quick. Yeah, the comment section is going crazy down there. Well, all right, hear me out. Let me express my appreciation to all of you that have tuned in, all right, and watching this live stream. Guys, not trying to be sarcastic, but it means a lot. When we talk about these things, we do this effort, it makes you feel good when people are listening to what you have to say. It's not a joke, guys. It's not a joke. And I really appreciate every single one of you that are continuing to come back here to support the channel, who want to see good things happen, who's, accompanying me in this journey of mine, farming in Congo and, doing business in Africa and things of that sort. It really means a lot. And do me a favor, support me by hitting the like button. I don't ask for money. If you make a donation, I can't turn it down. Generously, I will accept it with joy in my heart, but I'm not gonna ask for it. All right, that's not me. I make my own money. I'm doing my things single-handedly, and I don't expect loans from anybody. So I want to be able to claim everything that I own 100% mine. And you guys stick around. There are a lot of great videos that I'm going to send your way, but I do apologize because of the delays. I have stockpiles of footage from the construction happening on the farm, which is complete at this point, but I still have to update you of what's going on, what they've done, things that are happening there, and that would mean a lot. All right, so you just stick around and be more patient with me. Like I said, I figured rather than just waiting till I have time to edit these videos, I'll come here in this live stream. You and I can interact directly. We talk about these issues and let me know what you feel in the comment section down below, and it really means a lot. And thank you so much for tuning in, because I know your time is very precious, just as much as mine is, because I'm not here to waste anybody's time. So if you're still watching, you're much appreciated. And I really appreciate the trust that you guys have in me and always coming back to watching me. So that really, really means a lot. And I mean it. This is coming straight from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot. All right. So I know together we can do this. We can grow these platforms and do the things that some people have never done yet. So let me see what it is saying here. We're just making sure everyone is working, except USA Today is trying to stop human trafficking. 2024 is going to be United States is trying to stop human trafficking. Are you sure? Are you serious about that? Let me tell you something. All of the wars that United States has always been involved in, it is a part of human trafficking right there. It serves a great market for human trafficking. Don't make me want to open one of my criminal justice book back in college about that. Just in case you didn't know, human trafficking is a multi-billion industry. Let that sink in. Human trafficking is a multi-billion, I'm not saying million, billions industry. So when people are desperately fleeing their homes because of the bomb getting dropped to the top of the head nonstop, they want to move to a peaceful country, to a peaceful place. And for the most part, these countries, they make sure, right? They make sure of that they have all of these programs that assist with, refugees and all of the other asylum seekers, because you ain't never gonna see nobody seeking asylum in an African nation. If you ever seen such a thing, why are they always seeking asylums in these Western countries? It's because they start the war, they have a plan, people are moving here, right? Whether it is a direct war or it's just an economic war through sanctions that they impose on a lot of countries. What do you think a lot of Latin American countries, let's just talk about like Venezuela and all the other places, right? They are under crazy economic sanctions. So the money, their currency value has insanely decreased, and people aren't making enough money. But the government is making sure that all the resources is distributed to the people. But these multinational corporations, they don't want that. They want you to privatize your resources for them to exploit it and continue to make more money, so they have control over your country, over your government, and continue to be more powerful. That's what's going on. When these people are leaving their country desperately, coming here, whether legally or illegally, guess what? They're looking for jobs. When you get a job under the table because you ain't got no paper, guess what? They're not paying you minimum wage. Let's just say if where you work, you it's some like a legal immigrant, someone would pay that, legal immigration documents have it, right? They get the same job that you got. They're probably making $5 or $6 more than you are. You know why? Because they are legally here. They can go back and sue the employer. But you, as illegal immigrants, you can't do any of that. They can pay you half of what everybody else is making. Guess what? You don't have any other choice but taking the money, right? Because that's what you came there for. Because you couldn't get it back in your country. At least you're getting it here. How much more are you going to be asking for? That right there is human trafficking. Just in case you didn't know. They're using you because they know your immigration status. It ain't going to do squat. You can't take them to court because you're afraid to take them anywhere, just because you know, number one, you're illegally here, and number two, the moment you show up at a police station, they know your immigration status. You're all facing deportation. That's exactly why you would not go. And they know it. That's human trafficking. I threw a little book at you from what I learned. I still remember from one of my criminal justice classes that I took. So I'm sure you're informed. If you still don't believe me, you can go ahead, feel free to a bunch of books out there that explain that. You can read that on your own and you get an idea what human trafficking really means. And there are people that end up in like sex industries. They even get exploited more. Let me grab this super chat real quick. Trafficking is not what your law says. It's slavery. Exactly. Say that again. Say that again, because a lot of people need to hear that, all right? Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. That really means a lot. Of legendary reviews 2020. Thank you guys so much. Thanks again. I mean, the love that I'm receiving on this channel, man, I just gotta keep going. I can't stop at this point, man. You guys are showing me so much love, and that really, really means a lot, and I really appreciate it. That really shows that you're getting some value in this live stream, and that really goes straight to my heart. It really means a lot. So we can go away from the intention, the subject of this live stream, right? But understand the life that a lot of people thought that they were coming to here in America or in the West is nothing. When I say nothing, is nothing anywhere near what they have advertised through Hollywood movies that we used to watch back home as kids growing up. Like anything that you saw on TV, it's much more different than that. The reality here is the opposite of what you see on TV. People are grinding. Some people are living on the top of each other just to try to find a way to save up a little more money and either go back home or come up with another plan. Because here you will continue to work constantly, non-stop, until you burn out. And the moment they don't need you anymore, they'll replace you at the blink of an eye and you'll be gone. Let me tell you a quick story about myself. When I worked at a warehouse where I was a forklift operator. I started working there since 2015, and I left there in 2019 when I got into the police academy. Right, you should see the boss, the number one of the company. This guy's Chris. He lives in Florida, but he owns a business here. He owns multiple real estate businesses here in Pennsylvania or whatever. So he usually stays in PA. When it starts getting colder, it flies to Florida. It stays there, and when it's summertime or spring, it comes back and forth. So long story short, these guys have given us bonuses. I'm talking about whether it is in cash forms or with my roommate Joy that I mentioned earlier, in the live stream. One of my roommate that I had, we were putting in great amount of work. We're working hard. We're producing more. This became very noticeable in the eyes of the entire company. When I say they loved us, they loved us. So this guy was referring to us by our names. Even at one point, they even pay my cable bills and my roommate's cable. I mean, they pay my cable bills because we were, splitting payments when we lived together. But at one point, they were paying our cable bills. Why? Because there were times where we work Monday through Fridays, right? We have weekends off, but we will come in Saturdays for overtime and things like that. Sometimes they were like, yo, we got this products that needs to go out, and these, clients of ours, but they will convince me and my roommates, we will show up on Saturday and Sunday. We work. Two people, the company shut down, but there's two people that are there working. We put in the work, they get the ship, it goes out. And they were giving us all these bonuses and everything. They love that so much. One time while I'm working, my dumb ass said, I'm working hard, I'm getting all this person, I'm getting all of this bonuses or whatever. I strained my back for lifting this 75 pounds boxes, right? I strained my back a little bit, so I notified them, hey, this is what happened. So I went to the hospital that they work with. They looked at it and they actually saw the muscles were tensed up all together. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not a medical personnel. So they ended up putting me on light duty, basically. So I was taking this, painkiller medicines. These, like, well, you take this, you can't, like, literally, you become drowsy. You can't drive. You can't operate any sort of machinery. And they were right. So, like, one morning I took the pill on my way to work. I almost got into an accident because I started feeling drowsy. That's how strong this medicine was. I started feeling so drowsy that I actually went off the road and I came back. I'm like, holy shit. So I get to the parking lot. I parked. I walked in there. I told my supervisor what had happened. Remind you, they kept trying to get me to get on the forklift work while I was on light duty. Not only that was illegal, and I chose not to sue because I'm not the type of person, right, that would do such a thing. But I'm like, this is illegal. I can't do this. So finally, they put me on light duty. They created like a little desk for me where I was just making boxes, right? Because we need these boxes that we were packing stuff with. I'm just sitting there and making boxes. Dude, the bosses, everybody, all the managers, that like we became buddy, bumping fists and all of that, hugging and everything. They wouldn't even look at me in the face. They wouldn't even say hello to me. You know why? Because I was no longer useful to them. I wasn't light duty. I wasn't producing as much as I used. That's why I brought a smile in their face, right? The moment I got hurt, I didn't serve a purpose to them anymore. And I've learned that the hard way. I'm like, from now on, I'm gonna work smart, not hard. And I stopped working hard. I got off light duty and I still work because I'm a hardworking man. I still work hard, but I didn't force myself to do, as much as I did prior to getting injured. So what I'm trying to say is that they will use you as long or as much as they can because you are useful to them. But the moment you get hurt, they kick you to the curb, they bring somebody else's on. So that right there should teach you what you need to know about a lot of these manufacturing industries. Don't kill yourself over 15, 17, or $20 an hour, or even $25 an hour. Work smart. Save up money, start investing in Africa. I'm investing in agriculture. I'm investing in farming and all of that stuff, and real estates. I just don't share those on YouTube yet. I'm not sharing that on YouTube yet, but it'll come a time when I'll show you things that I've done. I'd mentioned that I'm building a one-bedroom apartment in one of my residential properties that I own in Kinkole. And the reason I did that urgently is because I made a decision that I would not fly to Congo and pay to stay at somebody else's house or somebody else's apartment that they build, right? Because that's how they're making money. And I want to get into the same stuff too. So that's why I'm building my own. So when I'm in Kinshasa, I don't have to worry about paying rent. Dude, guys, it costs me 1,600 because usually when I go to Congo, I like to I stay for at least between 6 weeks up to 2 months. And that time that I stay in Congo, I spend 1,600 on rent, not including food, not including transportation, not including gas when I'm driving, not including anything. And you know, when you go to Africa, you got friends, you got family, everybody's is coming at you as if you have brought Bank of America to Congo. They want to get something from you. And you also, sometimes you give what you can from people. You see what I'm saying? So that right there, I've learned, I'm like, no, I'm going to build my own house. And yeah, so when I go to Congo, which I will, between June and July this year, I don't want to have to like pay rent like that. Well, I can just save up money. I'll get groceries. I'll buy food, have something. So I have, something to eat every single day. That's how you do it. All right. Let me go, even if it means there are laws against human trafficking. So I hope you do your job, keep Americans safe, because slavery is black person still allowed in. Then we're all dead. No, I totally agree with you guys. Listen, man, I know what I signed up for, and I work in a a black dominated community, and it's rough, man. It's tough. So some of the stories I eventually, maybe when I get out of this job, I will talk about them. But now I'm still a little, I'm still preserving myself and talking a lot about all these issues. But I try the best I can to look out for my people. But not everybody can be saved, right? I mean, you can't save everybody. There are people that still acts like they live in the past. But you can't save the world. You can do so much, but certain people can just be saved. All right. In this job, you have to learn how to approach that. Guys, come on. There's a lot of people in the chat. Please hit the like button. Hook a brother up for the YouTube algorithm, and I will really appreciate it. Just give me a thumbs up, and it will really means a lot. This goes along the way with the YouTube algorithm. When YouTube see that a lot of people are liking the video, guess what it does? It keeps sending this video to more people. And that's, by the way, is the goal of this channel. We're trying to reach a broader audience, because I think, here's the thing. It will come a moment where views will matter, but the ideology matters most. Because I want people to see what I stand up for, what I speak about. So it will change a lot of people's mind. It will change a lot of how the way we think. Because believe it or not, many people, many Africans, when they come here to America or they come to the West, they get so comfortable, at least in the beginning. And after a while, when they understand the system, now they wish that they had known better, right? So I'm not trying. What this lady's doing? Go park over there. Police officers park here. Goddamn right. I'm sorry. That's some privileges we have, in this garage. So there's a spot only for cops. So if you're a civilian, you gotta go park somewhere far, far away from here. Anyways, by the way, it feels good to be a cop. So I lost train of thought. I don't even remember what I was talking about. But anyways, when Africans come here, right? They when they finally start to wake up to the reality, it's like 5 years have gone by, because they don't want to believe in the reality that they see. They think it will get better. No, it'll continue to get worse. That's why we make these videos, to educate some of you who are either moving here or who are planning on moving here. So when you come here, you know exactly what to do. Don't wait any longer. Do it as soon as possible. Or if you're already in Africa, you have the ability to make certain amount of money that some of us are making here, then you don't need to come here. Stay there. If you want to visit because you think after visiting here it's a paradise that you will never die, fine. You can work on that through immigration and come here, visit, see it for yourself, see whether you like it or not, and then you go back. I would never encourage somebody to leave everything that they built behind to move here for what? Don't do that to yourself, guys. Don't ever put yourself in such a situation, because you will regret it eventually. I don't want to have to be the one telling you, I'm sorry, if I had known what you were doing, I would have stopped you. I don't want to be the one telling you that. But I want you to read between the lines and understand that the world that we lived in 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it's not the same world that we're living in now. Like, America is losing influence geopolitically. All of this Cold Wars or economic wars that they're raging on China, Russia, all of these other countries that they think is posing a national security threat to America, nobody is ready to bomb America. Nobody is a threat to the United States. United States is a threat to the world. Let's call it for what it is. That's the reality. You know? So people are trying to get out of that slavery. People are trying to get out of the colonial, grip that America has over the world through different proxies, whether it is in Europe and everywhere, because United States got military bases around the world, right? And it becomes a problem. So people, you are coming to that here. Imagine there are homelessness crisis happening here in America. I can drive around and show you homeless people throughout the city of Philadelphia. They're everywhere. Everywhere. If I wanted to do content just showing you homeless people, I could. That's how many of them are out there in these streets, right? Guys, but they passed 95 billion foreign aid bill to aid Israel and Ukraine to continue to fight the wars. Palestine don't even have an army like that. Hamas is like a militia group, whatever. While they're saying that we care about Palestinian people, we want them to have their own states, United States goes to United Nations, vetoed the bill, vetoes that, the proposition to be for Palestine to become a full member of the UN. While they're saying they care about them, on the top of it, the aid that they used to send to Palestinians, they cut the fund to it. It's not going there anymore. And you give Israel billions, over $25 billion to continue to bomb the crap out of them. How lunatic you will have to be to do such a thing. Guys, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Don't listen to what these people are saying. Even during colonialism, the things that they've done in Africa, it was nothing but lies. Even slavery. When people came here, they didn't think they were being brought here to become slaves. They thought they were coming here to work and help their society because they didn't have workforce like that. When they got here, they found themselves in a whole different situation. That's what happened. You can't trust anything these people are saying. That's why you come here, You get your job, you start making money, you build what you gotta build, and take your ass back to Africa. Just that simple. These people are not your friends. Get that in your head. These people are not your friend. They will never be happy with your success. They will never be happy to see Africa rise. They will never be happy to see us do better. So you have to make that happen on your own. Hello, brother. How you doing there? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? Understand that. The moment we understand these things, we will learn how to live better, how to build our home better. Let me ask you this question. What is it that you can build in America that does not exist already, or it has not been built before? Just name one thing. But you can take your knowledge back to Africa and build things, help out the locals, and contribute, bring what you have learned to the society. You will be much more appreciated and respected. No matter what you do here, especially as this, it'll never be appreciated and you will never get credits for it. Plain simple. There's no other way around. Let's all keep that in mind, guys. It's nothing more than you doing what's best for you and your family. Jesus died on the cross to save humanity. Me as a Christian, that's the things I believe in. You don't have to agree with me on that, but that's what I believe in, right? And it ain't gonna be no other second Jesus. You save yourself and your family. Screw the government. Whether it is the Congolese government, the American government, no government in this world work for the people. All of these governments, they only work for themselves. They work to continue to position themselves to become more powerful. The more powerful they become, the more unstoppable they are, and there is nothing you can do about it to stop it. Make yourself powerful and unstoppable in whatever way possible that you can make that happen. My own way is through farming, because I know I love farming. I love agriculture. When I am near my farm in the future, when I don't have to come here because I'm making enough money and I got my real estate business going and everything is working out well, I'm powerful in my own hand. And I am able to live comfortably and not having to worry about coming back to America to get a job and get a paycheck. That's what my struggle, that's what my fight is. And if you guys want to see that fight happen and support that, stay subscribed to the channel, like my videos, share them with friends and family so that we could all make it happen. Because I have the faith, I trust you just as much as you trust me by sticking around and watching this live stream for 1+ hour. Now it's been going on. All right, guys, I pulled into the parking lot. It's almost time for me to go get changed, throw my uniform on, and go serve the world. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate your reaction. This is probably the most comments on a live stream, on a single live stream I have gotten so far since I started doing these live streams. And I really appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that have liked the videos. And thank you everybody that have tuned in. And I thank everybody who are continuing to, support the channel, whether financially or, by just sharing a video or liking them. Stay tuned. I got videos coming your way. And actually there is one that's dropping today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look out for that. It is a short, probably less than 5 minutes video that just gives you an idea of what's happening on the farm as we speak. So make sure you keep your eye on that, and you can go on my channel tab and it's already pending somewhere. But keep in mind, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I got a video dropping. All right. So thank you. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Happy Friday. Enjoy the start of your weekend. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.